What if I told you, there is a mountain on earth that no human has ever conquered? A mountain so sacred, so powerful, that even modern science refuses to explain it. A place where time behaves differently. Where aging stops. And where ancient gods are said to still walk among us. This is not a fantasy. This is not a movie. This is Mount Kailash. Hidden deep in the Himalayas, on the roof of the world, stands a perfectly shaped black pyramid of stone. A mountain so mysterious that pilots refuse to fly over it, climbers are forbidden to touch it, and satellite images are carefully blurred. Why? Because Mount Kailash is believed to be the center of the universe, the home of Lord Shiva, the gateway to heaven, and according to some ancient texts, the entrance to another dimension. Today, we are going to uncover the secret of Mount Kailash, a mystery that has survived for over 5,000 years. And once you hear this, you will never see Earth the same way again. What is Mount Kailash? Mount Kailash is located in the remote region of Tibet, near the borders of India and Nepal. It rises over 22,000 feet above sea level, yet unlike other mountains, it is not the tallest. But what makes it special is not its height. It is its perfect shape. From every angle, Mount Kailash looks like a giant black pyramid carved by an intelligent hand. Its four faces are aligned almost perfectly with the four cardinal directions: north, south, east, and west. This level of symmetry is extremely rare in nature. Some scientists say it is a natural formation. But others are not so sure. Satellite scans show unusual energy readings around Mount Kailash, magnetic distortions, unexplained radio interference, and strange time anomalies. Local people believe this is because Mount Kailash is not just a mountain. It is a living spiritual structure. Why no one is allowed to climb it? Here is something shocking. In the entire history of modern mountaineering, no human has ever reached the top of Mount Kailash. Not because they failed. Because they were stopped. The Chinese government, Tibetan monks, Hindu priests, and even international organizations all agree on one rule. Mount Kailash must never be climbed. Why? Because in Hinduism, Mount Kailash is the home of Lord Shiva, the destroyer and transformer of the universe. In Buddhism, it is the dwelling of Demchok, the god of supreme bliss. In Jainism, it is where their first saint attained enlightenment. In Tibetan Bon religion, it is the center of all spiritual energy. For religions, one mountain, the same belief. That cannot be coincidence. Compass the Kora, walking around the mountain. Pilgrims are not allowed to climb Mount Kailash. But they are allowed to walk around it. This sacred walk is called the Kora. It is a 52-kilometer journey around the mountain, and it is said that one full Kora washes away the sins of an entire lifetime. But here is the strange part. People who complete the Kora report something unbelievable. Some say they aged years in just days. Others say they felt no hunger, no fatigue, and no pain. Many claim they saw strange lights, shadows, or even beings in the mist. Scientists who studied the area found something disturbing. Time does not move normally near Mount Kailash. Human hair and nails grow faster. Watches malfunction. Compasses spin wildly. It is as if the mountain exists in a different reality. Red triangle pointed up. Is Mount Kailash a giant pyramid? Russian scientists once conducted satellite scans of Mount Kailash. What they found shocked the world. They claim that Mount Kailash is not a natural mountain, but a massive artificial pyramid. Larger than the Great Pyramid of Egypt. Even more disturbing. They discovered hundreds of smaller pyramids and dome-shaped structures surrounding it, forming what looks like a power grid. Some researchers believe this structure is more than 100,000 years old, far older than human civilization. So who built it? And why? Milky Way, the stairway to heaven. Ancient Tibetan texts describe Mount Kailash as a cosmic staircase, a bridge between earth and higher dimensions. According to legend, enlightened beings do not die. They enter Mount Kailash. Somewhere inside this mountain is believed to be a hidden entrance to a legendary underground kingdom called Shambhala, a place of immortal beings with advanced knowledge. People who try to search for this entrance never return. Not because they are killed, but because they are chosen. Crystal ball: the strange effects on human beings. There are stories of climbers who tried to approach the mountain. One group of Russian mountaineers reportedly aged rapidly, their skin wrinkled, their hair turned white, and they died within weeks of returning. Another explorer claimed he saw a giant human-like figure walking near the peak. Others report hearing voices in their minds. Mount Kailash does not attack you. It judges you. Brain: is this where humanity began? Some ancient texts claim Mount Kailash is the axis mundi, the center of the earth. If you draw lines from the Great Pyramid, Stonehenge, Easter Island, and the Bermuda Triangle, they all point to Mount Kailash. How did ancient civilizations across the world know about this mountain? How did they align their greatest structures to it? Someone knew something. And they left clues behind. High voltage: what is being hidden from US? Google Earth images of Mount Kailash are blurred. Satellite data is restricted. No excavation is allowed. If this is just a mountain, why is it protected like a military base? What lies inside Mount Kailash? Ancient machines? A portal? The throne of Shiva? Or something far more terrifying? The Forbidden Expeditions and the Kailash Time Warp. Low, suspenseful background music fades in. In Part 1, you discovered why Mount Kailash is considered the most sacred and mysterious place on Earth. But now, we step into the part of the story the world was never meant to hear. Because Mount Kailash is not just a spiritual symbol. It has been the target of secret scientific expeditions, forbidden military interest, and terrifying encounters that defy everything we think we know about reality. And some of the people who went there never came back the same. Ice Cube: the Russian expedition that changed everything. In the late 1990s, a team of Russian scientists and mountaineers led by Dr. Ernst Moldashev traveled to Tibet to study Mount Kailash. Officially, they were there to study geology. But secretly, they were searching for something else. Ancient Tibetan texts described Mount Kailash as a giant energy generator, a place where Earth's magnetic lines meet and where time itself bends. What the Russians discovered shocked them. Using advanced measuring equipment, they detected strong electromagnetic fields around the mountain, far stronger than anywhere else on Earth. Their instruments went crazy. Radios stopped working. Watches froze. GPS devices failed. It was as if the mountain was rejecting technology. Hourglass: not done. The time distortion zone. One of the most disturbing discoveries was this. Time near Mount Kailash does not move normally. The Russian team noticed something impossible. Their fingernails and hair were growing much faster than usual. This is a classic sign of time acceleration. In physics, when time moves faster, biological processes speed up. That means, if you stay near Mount Kailash too long, you age faster. This explains the terrifying stories of pilgrims who returned looking years older after just a few days. Mount Kailash is not cursed. It is located inside a time field. DNA: the no-go zone. The Russians mapped out what they called the no-go zone, an invisible boundary around the mountain where time distortion becomes dangerous. Inside this zone, people become dizzy. Memory becomes unstable. Reality feels unreal. And the human body starts to break down. Animals refuse to enter it. Birds avoid flying over it. Something in nature knows this place is not normal. Person climbing: the climbers who disappeared. Despite all the warnings, some explorers tried to reach the summit. One group of climbers from Europe reportedly attempted to climb Mount Kailash secretly. Within hours of entering the restricted zone, They turned back. Not because of weather, but because they said the mountain was watching them. One climber claimed he saw a massive humanoid figure standing near the peak, glowing with white light. Another said he heard voices telling him to leave. They barely escaped with their lives. Most refused to ever speak about it again. Nazar Amulet, the living mountain. Ancient Tibetan monks say Mount Kailash is not made of stone. It is made of consciousness. They believe the mountain is alive, a spiritual being that reacts to human intention. If you approach with greed, it repels you. If you approach with ego, it weakens you. If you approach with a pure heart, it allows you to pass. This is why pilgrims can walk around it safely. But no one is allowed to stand on its head. Milky Way. Is Mount Kailash a stargate? Some physicists believe Mount Kailash sits on a natural wormhole, a tear in spacetime that connects Earth to another dimension. This could explain time distortion, magnetic anomalies, disappearing people, and glowing energy seen at the peak. Ancient texts describe Mount Kailash as the navel of the world, a gateway between realms. What if they were not speaking metaphorically? What if Mount Kailash is literally a portal? Nazar Amulet, the guardians of Kailash. Tibetan legends speak of beings called the protectors. Tall, luminous, human-like entities who guard the sacred mountain. They are said to appear when the mountain is threatened. These beings do not kill. They remove. People who are taken by them are never found again. But some believe they are not dead. They are somewhere else. Fire the mountain that will awaken. Ancient prophecies say Mount Kailash will one day open. When humanity reaches a critical point, either spiritual awakening or total destruction, the mountain will reveal what lies inside. Some say it will bring divine knowledge. Others say it will release a power that will change the world forever. Whatever is inside Mount Kailash, it is waiting. Shambhala, the hidden kingdom beneath Mount Kailash. What if everything you know about Earth is only half the story? What if beneath the world's most mysterious mountain lies a civilization far older and far more advanced than humanity? Welcome to Shambhala, the legendary hidden kingdom beneath Mount Kailash. The hidden entrances. Ancient Tibetan maps do not show Mount Kailash as a mountain. They show it as a gateway. According to old manuscripts, there are 7 hidden entrances around Kailash, invisible to ordinary eyes. Only those chosen by the mountain can see them. Pilgrims who reach these areas often describe walking into thick fog and stepping out in a completely different place. Some never return. Classical building, the city inside the mountain. Shambhala is not a myth. It is described as a massive underground city built with crystal, gold, and unknown metals. It glows with its own light. It has no pollution, no war, no disease. The beings who live there are said to have lifespans of hundreds of years. They do not use money. They do not age like humans. They have mastered energy, consciousness, and time. DNA, the immortal guardians. The inhabitants of Shambhala are sometimes called the Watchers. They are human-like, but not human. Their DNA is believed to be different. They can communicate without speaking. They can appear and disappear. They can move through walls of stone. They are the true guardians of Mount Kailash. Scroll the ancient records. Inside Shambhala lies a hole known as the Chamber of Knowledge. It is said to contain records of every civilization that ever existed, every global disaster, the true history of Earth, and the future of humanity. Some believe this is where Atlantis, Lemuria, and other lost worlds are recorded. The past, and the future, stored inside one mountain. Flying saucer. Was Shambhala built by non-humans? Many researchers believe Shambhala was not built by ancient humans. They believe it was built by a pre-human civilization. Or even by beings from another world. The precision, the energy systems, and the geometry found around Mount Kailash are far beyond ancient technology. Even today, we cannot replicate them. Brain, why they stay hidden. So why has Shambhala never revealed itself? Because humanity is not ready. The ancient texts say, when humans live in harmony with earth, Shambhala will open. When humans destroy the world, it will remain closed. Shambhala is not hiding from us. It is protecting itself from us. Crystal ball, the day of revealing. One day, Mount Kailash will open. Not with explosions, but with light. When that day comes, the hidden knowledge will be released. It could save humanity. Or it could end everything we know. The global pyramid network and Earth's hidden rulers, everything you have learned so far leads to this moment. Mount Kailash is not alone. It is part of something far larger, far more ancient, and far more powerful. A global system built long before recorded history. Globe showing Europe, Africa, the Pleiadian grid of Earth. Across the planet, there are thousands of mysterious ancient structures. The Great Pyramid of Giza. Stonehenge. Machu Picchu. Teotihuacan. Easter Island. Angkor Wat. The Bermuda Triangle. When scientists mapped them, they discovered something impossible. All of these sites fall on perfect energy lines that connect directly to Mount Kailash. These lines are known as ley lines, natural energy pathways of the Earth. Mount Kailash sits at the center of this grid. It is the heart of the planet. Red triangle pointed up, the master pyramid. Mount Kailash is not just another node. It is the master pyramid. Every ancient pyramid and sacred site was built to mirror it. The Great Pyramid of Egypt is aligned to Kailash with shocking precision. So are the pyramids of South America and Asia. This means ancient civilizations across the world shared a single blueprint. A blueprint given to them by something, or someone. The true rulers of Earth. Hidden in ancient texts is a disturbing truth. Humanity has never truly been in control. There exists an advanced intelligence. Known by many names. The Watchers. The Shining Ones. The Serpent Kings. The Guardians. They do not rule openly. They guide civilization from the shadows. Mount Kailash is their command center. Flying saucer, the sky beings. Ancient carvings show beings descending from the sky to Mount Kailash. Flying machines. Glowing discs. Light beams. These were not gods. They were visitors. They built the global pyramid network as a planetary control system. To stabilize Earth and guide evolution. High voltage, why humanity is kept in the dark. Why is all of this hidden? Because if humanity knew the truth, every system of power would collapse. Money. Governments. Religion. Control. Mount Kailash is the switch. And whoever controls it, controls Earth. Fire, the final warning. Ancient prophecies say that if the global energy grid becomes unstable, Mount Kailash will activate. Not to destroy, but to reset. A planetary reboot. The end of one age. And the beginning of another. The final secret of Mount Kailash: you have traveled through myths, science, forbidden knowledge, and hidden worlds. Now, we arrive at the final truth. The secret that Mount Kailash has guarded for thousands of years. Snow-capped mountain. What is really inside Mount Kailash? Mount Kailash is not hollow. It is structured. Ancient texts describe layers inside the mountain, not of rock, but of energy, crystal, and consciousness. At its core is something called the Bindu. The central point of reality. This is where all ley lines converge. This is where Earth's energy is born. Mount Kailash is the engine of the planet. Key why no one is allowed to reach the summit. The summit of Mount Kailash is not a peak. It is a seal. Breaking that seal would release the raw energy of the earth, an energy powerful enough to reset life itself. That is why every religion agrees. The top must never be touched. Not because it is holy, but because it is dangerous. DNA. The DNA connection. Modern scientists discovered something impossible. Human DNA contains sequences that do not come from Earth. Ancient texts claim these were activated at Mount Kailash. This means humanity did not evolve randomly. We were designed. And Mount Kailash was the laboratory. Milky Way, the choice of humanity. We are approaching a crossroads. Technology is rising. Nature is collapsing. Consciousness is awakening. Mount Kailash will not judge us by religion, but by how we treat Earth. If we continue destroying the planet, the mountain will activate. Not as punishment, but as balance. Fire. The final revelation. Mount Kailash is not a mountain. It is a guardian. A planetary intelligence. A cosmic machine. And it has been watching us from the beginning. Clapperboard. The end. The secret of Mount Kailash is not what lies inside the mountain. It is what lies inside us.